I hope you're a part of our group that have made over 50% on Netlist stock over the last 2 days, that is Friday and now Monday. And that's as a result of a court settlement just this past Friday where Netlist has been awarded $303 million because of patent infringements from Samsung. As a result of that, an article caught my attention in the Wall Street Journal last week, and today I went back to it, and it basically said that if Apple calls you and says they're interested in your business, don't go see them. It's the kiss of death. Here's the article. And what it's telling us is this is a natural practice. And in other words, what's happened in Netlist is a tactic that is being used regularly within the big tech industry. They lure people into their office. They look at what they have. They say, hey, there's a partnership here. Let's look at it and explore it further. And then they basically steal their intellectual property. Well, there's another one that's going on. And it's Masimo, M-A-S-I-M-O Corporation, ticker MASI. They're a substantial company. They do about $2 billion worth of business a year, and they make monitoring or sensing blood oxygen measurement devices. And that is something that they shared their knowledge with Apple, and now this week they're involved in a lawsuit. And I want to cover that because if you liked the Netlist Google situation, you're going to love this one. Okay, it's a pretty deep story. I've done some research. I want to share it with you, and I'm going to continue to follow up on it because I believe this Netlist thing is going to be a bonanza. And this Masimo even sounds a little more, I guess, nasty than the Netlist one did. So we'll get to it.
Best of Us Investors presents Kerry Griegmeyer.
Here's the story in a nutshell. In 2019, the CEO of Masimo, Joe Carney, was invited to come to the California offices of Apple and to look into his blood oxygen measuring device. And he said he spent about 45 minutes with the Apple executives, and they said they wanted to look into it further, and that they felt that there was an opportunity, mutually beneficial opportunity there for them. Well, he went back to his office and went about his business, and then one of his key executives came in and said, I'm going to be leaving the company. And he was in shock. And he said, and the guy said, "Yeah, Apple has offered me a better job at twice the salary plus stock options." Okay. Well, then a couple of weeks later, one of his engineers showed up and said basically the same thing. Apple has come and offered me double my salary and stock options. Shortly thereafter, that engineer filed a patent on behalf of Apple for the oxygen measurement device. Yeah. You hire away the employees. You find maybe a little different measurement within the patent that could improve it. You take your Apple new employee and file a patent in his name, not in Apple's name, and they're off and running. So with all that happening, in 2020, Apple launches the Apple Watch with blood oxygen measurement. Okay. What a way to run a business. Kind of disturbs me that I had I guess, higher hopes for Apple. But nonetheless, that's what happened. So this article goes on to say that Masimo is not unique. There are at least 24 other companies that have lawsuits in various stages going after Apple for infringement. So what I guess I'm seeing is that this is something that's been going on for a long time. This is probably why regulators and congressmen are saying we've got to stop big tech, because big tech is misbehaving. So I guess I look at this and say, is the Netlist Samsung the straw that broke the camel's back? Is it the next step to say, okay, these companies are now fair game, and Masimo is as I said, it's a $2 billion a year company, and they're asking for $3.1 billion in damages. Now, again, remember, damages is part of it. Okay. We learned that in Samsung case. Damages is a part of it. But the next day, you show up with a cease and desist. And this is where you get into, are you going to continue to use our intellectual property, or are you going to just shut down your business and be done with it and come with something totally new for a way to measure oxygen? Or as in the Netlist Google, we're going to shut down all our servers, take Netlist intellectual property off of them, and we're going to start with something entirely new. I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm going to pursue this further. I found another article. Here it is. And basically what this article is saying is that this trial is going on. In fact, this was last week. And the judge has sealed the courtroom off, so no outside reporters, no outside observers, because the intellectual property that the Masimo executives are sharing in the courtroom is so current and so, I guess, valuable that they don't want any exposure to the outside. I don't know. This is, Netlist was, when I bought into it, a $2 stock. It's now about a $6 stock. This is about, I think, $150 stock. But it's a substantial company. It's got a good market cap. And if, in fact, I just can't imagine how they could lose if Apple actually went in and hired their employees and offered them twice the salary and stock options. I mean, that's something I would expect from Xi Jinping or Vladimir Putin. Not corporate executives, and certainly not Tim Cook. God, please. He's an Auburn graduate. My grandson's going to go to Auburn. Come on. This kind of nasty stuff can't go on. The world's big enough and these companies are making enough money, they don't have to steal from the smaller guy. So I think this is a sign of something to come, that we know the government wants to hold them back, and if, in fact, they're doing this kind of crap, they need to be held back. I will follow up on this. I'm going to make it a passion of mine to find more cases where David's taking on Goliath. Okay? Let's talk again in the near future. And oh, by the way, there's a link in there. I told you in my past video, if you want to come to our stock talk this Friday, go into the link, give me your email address, and I'll send you the Zoom link Friday, probably around noon, so that you can join us. And we can talk about this trend of David versus Goliath. Talk to you again tomorrow.